This program contains scenes of violence and offensive language from children.
Jefferson County 911. The gun is right outside the library door, okay? I don't think I'm gonna go out there.
Yesterday he sent me a message saying, you effing it.
We didn't like her in the first place, so we just kind of, went against her.
Since 1997, 7 children in British Columbia have killed themselves as a result of school bullying.
So give me it.
That's me 13 years ago, the one on the right, dancing with my one and only friend. Grade 8 was the worst year of my life. I was bullied every day for months, and I've never lost the feeling that there's something wrong with me. Something that drew the bullies to me. So I'm going back to Edmonton to hunt down my bullies. I want to know why they targeted me, and also see if things are any better for kids nowadays, because my experience was supposed to make a difference. I was part of a TV news story about bullying in junior high. If they said anything to me, it was derogatory, like, you're a and whore and I'm gonna get you and everything. And it got to the point where I couldn't sit down without having to brush a hand away from my desk, because there was always a hand there waiting to grab my butt or my ass or anything. My old hometown went on to become the first city in Canada to make bullying illegal. I'll spend the school year seeing how that went while I track down my tormentors.
Sometimes I wonder if I was bullied because I'm kind of a softer person, or if I'm a softer person because I was bullied.
Kenilworth Junior High, my alma mater, my old torture chamber. There were 3 of them. 3 boys who'd call me basketball head, constantly grab my butt, and make creepy sexual remarks. As the year went on, I shrank into a ball of anxiety. For weeks, we look for kids who will talk on camera about being bullied today, but everyone fears that speaking up will make it worse. I felt exactly the same way in junior high, and when I finally let my mom talk to the school, she was told, boys will be boys. The principals changed at my old junior high, and so has the attitude.
I have not had a single situation come to me that we have not responded to. I think it would be, quite frankly, reprehensible if that wasn't my answer.
Sounds good, but ask any junior high kid and they'll tell you, most bullying incidents don't make their way to the principal's office. And all the research tells the same story. Adults think they step in to stop bullying 3/4 of the time. Kids perceive adults intervening only about 1/4 of the time. Kids at several junior highs talk to me privately about being bullied, but no one's brave enough to be filmed until a girl at my old school decides she'll talk, as long as we keep our filming on the down low.
Just a normal kid who really wants to fit in is the sense that I get. And she said things like, things that I actually can remember thinking and saying. It's just like sitting next to myself 15 years later. Okay, now the dog wants in.
Liz reminds me so much of myself at that age, it's freaky. She's a good student, she's very introspective, and hard on herself. She's a much cooler dresser than I ever was, but wants so much to fit in that she's even tried going all mainstream pink. Like me, Liz had been bullied before, in grade 6. Grade 8 wasn't very old before it started again.
I was in the back corner of French class, and the girl sitting in front of me started, asking me if I wanted to be emo, if I was trying to be an outcast. And I was just like, no, leave me alone. And then eventually she made me cry, so I went to the bathroom.
I'm dark and sensitive with low self-esteem. The way I dress makes every day feel like Halloween. I have no real problems, but I like to make believe. I stole my sister's mascara, now I'm grounded for a week. Sulking.
Emo stands for emotional, and the word carries huge stigma in teen world. Go online and it's all over YouTube.
Emo. Me and my friends all look like clones. I must be emo.
It's just a stupid label that someone made up. And they think that emos they cut themselves and they always wear black and they're all depressed and suicidal and whatnot. I even tried to wear different colored clothing and stuff. I was trying to be happier and smile more, and it didn't help. I kind of just moved my desk even further back because people were bothering me, and then it just got worse.
What really made it worse was that this was happening in the classroom, unchallenged by teachers who maybe didn't understand the word itself or didn't understand how hurtful it could be for a kid to be labeled emo.
Eventually, they start to think, maybe I am really emo, and then they start to actually do those things and they harm themselves. And that's sort of what happened to me, because then I started cutting myself because a certain group of people thought it was cool or whatever. And now I totally regret that.
People would tell her that Liz, go cut yourself. You think why would they be so cruel? For me, I'm so proud she goes to school, even though she was feeling so horrible. She still made herself go. And the kids would still tease her, and I don't know why, and she doesn't know why.
For a mom to watch this happening to her little girl, just brutal.
Her diary is her own, but I started getting worried enough that I actually read it because she was just becoming so angry. And I had so many nights where I couldn't sleep. I was crying almost all night because I'm just so worried, Because the things I was reading in her diary too were just so hopeless. The thing that scared me, I think what really scared me is she wrote something and said, she wished that she had killed herself when she had the chance. And I was like, that's it. That's, I hadn't realized that she had a chance or that she was so far,
Since 1997, 7 children in British Columbia have killed themselves as a result of school bullying.
Liz's mom is terrified that her little girl will become a story on the 6 o'clock news. Another child driven to suicide by bullying. When we meet Colby, shortly after Christmas, he's having a very bad week. Got into a fight at the LRT station defending his sister. And at school, he's being pushed around by bigger boys.
Some people at my school don't even like me because I'm small and weak, and I'm more sensitive than other guys, and so they think it's an opportunity to bug someone for fun.
So when did all of the bugging begin?
Well, when I got hurt, because we were playing soccer outside, and I got body checked, and I had to get taken to the hospital in an ambulance, and everyone just started calling me crybaby and stuff. Well, there's this one guy, he's like really big. He's been pushing me into lockers, calling me like gay and f***ing and stuff, and like trying to shove me in garbage cans and making all my friends hate me. And then I can't say anything back because then he'll just punch me in the face. Like yesterday he sent me a message saying, you effing f***it, and that's the first message he's ever sent to me on Nex.
Nex is the social networking site, Nexopia, the center of teen life in Edmonton. Here, instant communication and teenage hormones can be a pretty deadly combination. While we were interviewing Colby, his twin sister was dealing with her own Nexopia crisis.
They send like stuff like, you effing slut, effing whore, go to your corner, have a peace day, a greasy-haired little, like, B-word thing.
And then a couple of girls get her password and begin sending messages pretending to be Savannah.
Well, they were like saying a whole bunch of like gross stuff, like to my boyfriend. He's thinking it's all me. See, like, I'm so effing like, whole bunch of stuff. Like, I'm so effing I'm so effing I have two.
Savannah's bullies even change her password, stealing her online identity. It'll take weeks to sort it out, and since none of this bullying is face-to-face, her bullies never know how badly they're hurting a girl who's already struggling with depression. Imagine going to a website set up especially to make fun of you. After years of physical assaults, that's what happened to Dave Knight during grade 12 in Ontario.
I was accused of being a pedophile. I was accused of using the date rape drug on little boys. My sister was insulted there. One of the comments was, you're dirt and so is your sister and your whole family is. It just went on and on and on. When I first saw the website, I just sat there for a good, 15, 20 minutes staring at it. It's not something you really know how to process when you first see it.
At first, the internet service provider wouldn't help, nor would police. And David's school responded as they had to 4 years of physical bullying. Nothing we can do.
Later on, one of the kids told me that it was made in class on a school computer. It would have been very nice to know that they had some ability to track the use of their computers to see who was logging onto this website and who was working on it, but that wasn't the case.
The Knights are suing the school board, claiming it knew or ought to have known about the bullying and that it failed in its duty to protect David. David finished grade 12 at home, started university, and began working toward his dream of becoming an Air Force pilot. Somehow, he survived. His chief bully did not.
When I found out that the bully had committed suicide, it didn't hit me as hard right away because it was somebody who for so long had caused me so much grief. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that, hey, this was somebody's son. This was, somebody loved this kid and he had problems of his own. And I think I started feeling less anger towards him and more anger towards a system that let both myself and him down.
The system is changing, at least in the 3 Edmonton schools where we hung out this year. The principals all say they won't tolerate bullying, and that includes cyberbullying. Still, a survey released in the spring says 70% of Canadian kids have been harassed online. 44% own up to name-calling or spreading rumors over the net. At least in junior high, I was safe at home, no internet. Yet my bullies still have power over me today. Halfway through the year, I begin obsessing about finding them. And my 26-year-old self feels 13 again, when I think about coming face to face with my grade 8 bullies. At J.D. Bracco Junior High in North Edmonton, Principal Mary Lou Cleveland takes bullying very seriously.
We are the custodians. We are looking after everyone's most prized possession while they're in school. These are our children. Every teacher on staff is vigilant now about being on the watch for bullying activities.
Was that bullying, Sean? Like, why would you do that? Like, that doesn't look good on you. That makes you look small. You know, you don't have any trouble with friends. You don't have any trouble with feeling, you know, like the girls like you. Your life is a much easier life than Sean's. You don't have to deal with, you know, being autistic. That's really hard. You know, so don't, you know, the fact that you would, you know, bully somebody who's weaker than you, like, I don't know, is that what bullies do? They always bully the weak people. It's a power thing. Power thing. Doesn't look good on you. Yeah. Does look bad.
Because the activities are usually so secretive, it's very hard. And because adults aren't usually around, I mean, bullies are very tricky.
This is Colby's school, where he's been a target for months.
Colby, have you talked to any teachers or the principal or anything about the stuff that goes on at school?
No.
Why not?
Because then I'll get even worse teasing if I tell, because they'll call me like tattletale and stuff.
It's often Colby who ends up in the office, since he loses his cool when provoked and isn't good at hiding it. Not sneaky, and not exactly the passive victim school staff might be expecting.
Well, I got kicked out of the gym because I kept yelling at him to stop and stuff. He would just whip dodgeballs at me for no reason before the game even started. He'd bring one into the change room and whip them at me.
Colby and his chief bully are sent to the office and both interviewed by a vice principal. The other boy is told to stay away from Colby or face suspension. End of story? Nope. Colby still gets called fag, still gets bullied, now by proxy.
He hasn't come near me, he's just been getting other people to come, like his friends that are not my friends. He's just getting them to call me stuff like he's been calling me.
What does it take to roll 600 students over into thinking that the good is being right with the school? That being a bully is not cool, is not a power position. As soon as they walk into the junior high school door, they are beginning to be now young adults. So they're exploring a lot of issues. It's very dynamic, and sometimes they make mistakes.
There's about 5 to 10% of bullies in the school, based on your surveys, maybe 5% to 10% of victims, and 80% of bystanders.
J.D. Bracco is one of 4 Edmonton schools to embrace a new anti-bullying initiative called Peace Talks. First, they did a school survey.
Some of the interesting things were that racism is a lot lower than they expected. Sexual harassment, the comments are higher, the homophobic comments especially, was a lot higher than lots of people thought. There's some kids that are afraid and that were saying that they didn't feel that the schools knew what was happening and that there was help available for them. And that was one of the big surprises too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a scenario. I want you to think about which sign it is and hold that up. A group of boys hang out at lunch and after school and on weekends. Clayton is in this group and he's always picked on by the other boys, which are his friends. He never tells them to stop, but inside he doesn't like it. Is that always, sometimes, or never bullying?
Originating from a coalition of parents and community groups, Peace Talks tries to teach kids how to recognize bullying, how to stop it, and how to repair the harm when it does happen.
So the 3 keys we have are the intent of the person is trying to hurt the other person, that's their goal. We have the victim or the target, they've been impacted, it hurts them, and it's repetitive, so it happens over and over. Those are 3 keys in defining what's bullying and what's teasing. Is there anyone that wants to admit of a time they've maybe bullied or picked on someone or done something they shouldn't have?
Well, right before this presentation, Cheyenne walked by and I said, "You," and Jared called her fat.
So what were you thinking when you said that?
You.
So how do you think that she would have felt?
We don't care.
So you honestly just don't care?
You don't like her very much.
So let's say you don't like her. Is there a better way you can respond to her when you see her?
Don't even look at it.
Okay, and did anyone else see this happen that was standing around them? Did anyone else? And how did you guys feel?
I laughed. Same thing.
So you guys all just laughed and thought it was funny?
Yeah, we don't like her. Yeah. Nobody likes her.
All I heard is, ew, it's Cheyenne. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Like, we don't like actually hate her, like to a point like where we'd hurt her, but like we just like pick fun at her all the time.
We're all a bit surprised that these girls volunteer to talk about behavior that fits the definition of bullying. A power imbalance, since these girls are older and wealthier and in a group. Their behavior is deliberately hurtful and persistent.
It was in like our old elementary. Nobody like really liked her or anything.
And she was like a grade below us, and like she was friends with some of our friends, but then they got into a huge fight, and we didn't like her in the first place, so we just kind of went against her.
Yeah, and then she came to our junior high. I didn't go to their elementary, so I was in different elementary, and then everybody started telling me about them, and a bunch of bad things came out of it, and I thought her as a bad girl, so nobody just likes her.
It's just little comments. Oh yeah, you're ugly. Oh yeah, you're fat. You can't cheer. Stuff like that.
Because she wears like real like skin tight shirts, but she can't, so.
Yeah, we call her ugly a lot.
Things.
Like?
Poor.
My day will be up here and they'll go down to there and they'll make me feel really bad and I'll just be like, yeah, whatever. And then if I have cheerleading, I won't participate and I'll just feel really bad about myself. I think that it's all my fault.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Cheyenne admits to dishing it back, but with the power imbalance, she never wins, no matter how hard she tries.
We don't get as serious about it as she does. Like when we're doing it, we're just doing it like for laughs. But when she does it, like she's like actually mad about stuff and she's trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
What do you guys get out of this?
Think it's funny? Yeah.
I don't know, I just think that they can't get over themselves. That they can't get over what's in the past. Like, I forgot all about it until they bring it up when I came to the school. At the beginning of the year, they just kind of bring it up. Oh yeah, let's pick on Cheyenne again. Let's do this to Cheyenne again. Oh yeah, that'll be fun kind of thing. Oh yeah, remember what happened, blah, 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 in grade 6 or grade 5? Oh yeah, well let's bug her about that. And like, I was just like, stop, like, it's such a long time ago. There's no point for it.
And although we don't want to stereotype, girls and guys bully differently. With guys, it's more physical typically. They do the fighting, they do the hitting, they do that kind of stuff. They typically can maintain their friendships quicker afterwards. Where with girls, there's exclusion, there's gossiping, there's spreading of rumors, and those things have such a deep hurt, it just proves the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, is not correct.
Cheyenne begins skipping school frequently. Not to say that bullying is the only issue in her life, but it's not helping.
I kind of feel like I don't fit in with other people and that I shouldn't even be here or I should move to a different school.
For school staff who didn't witness our filming, it's not an obvious situation. On one hand, you've got a girl with attendance problems and dropping grades. And on the other, an honor roll student, a gifted athlete, and their new pal. And they always play so nicely with adults. We decide to do what their target can't, show the principal videotape of the girl's contempt. In early spring, there's an international anti-bullying conference happening in Ottawa. Proof that it's not just Edmonton that's paying more attention to school bullying. There's been an explosion in research since I was in grade 8. And wow, some of it stuns me.
He has a toy that he's playing with, that he's got, that children are going to take away.
Let me see it. Oh, give me it. It's not yours. What? It's not yours. So give me it. You.
Two things happened to the child who started the bullying.
One of the world's leading experts is from Toronto's York University. Since kids don't bully when adults are looking, Dr. Deborah Pepler and colleague Wendy Craig use remote cameras and microphones to follow a group of kids.
I honestly thought when we were starting this research almost 20 years ago that it would be about one child who was highly aggressive, another child who was highly submissive, and that relationship would tell the whole story. Not at all. This is a theater on the school playground. 85% of the time on the playground or in the classroom, other children are watching. The more children there are, the longer it goes. If the audience is there, the show must go on. The children who are watching say, oh, but I wasn't doing anything, I was just watching. No. We know that 75% of the time, those students are watching, they're watching the child who's doing the bullying. They're giving positive attention to that child. That child's on stage, getting all the attention.
Beat him! Beat him!
That famous playground study shows just how important bystanders are. More than half the time, when a bystander intervenes, the bullying stops within 10 seconds.
Kids who are bullies bully to get something done.
And Dr. Tony Pellegrini from Ohio State U literally makes me sit up and take notes, since I've always thought that my bullies must have been trying to make up for some lack in their sorry lives.
Bullies, from my view, are very, very good at seeing other people's points of view. They have a fair amount of different strategies. They just use these aggressive strategies to get what it is they want. There's a power differential. They tend to be bigger and stronger. And, interestingly, they tend to be viewed positively by both boys and girls.
Wow, so it's usually popular kids who bully, to maintain status, to keep the attention on themselves. I always figured I didn't have many friends in grade 8 because I was bullied. Turns out it was just the opposite. I was bullied because I didn't have friends. Ouch.
Kids who bully do it because they get social status from it. The ones who they deliberately pick on time and time and time again are those that they know there won't be any retaliation, number one, and that they won't have any negative social repercussions from that.
At the beginning of junior high, bullying escalates because kids are fighting for position in a new school and establishing their sexual value. Most bullying is girl on girl, or boy on boy. So why would boys bully me? Just a simple route to looking tough, I guess. Because I was an easy target, alone at the beginning of grade 8, having been dumped by my best friend who'd suddenly got popular. At least I haven't been crazy all these years to wonder if it's something about me that initially drew the bullies. And then my scared rabbit response turned me into an ongoing victim. But what about kids who fight back? They're called reactive aggressive, and the far end of that spectrum is a very scary place.
Jefferson County 911. The gun is right outside the library door, okay? I don't think I'm gonna go out there.
I want to take you back to the day that Columbine happened at my school, which was April 20th, 1999 in Wilson, Colorado.
Columbine was a colossal act of reactive aggression on the part of two boys who'd been bullied and excluded. Experts say revenge for bullying is one of the markers of most every school shooting.
I want to ask how many of you remember where you were and what you were doing when the shooting at Columbine happened. Can I just see your hand?
Craig Scott was under a table in the library throughout much of the shooting. He watched friends die and emerged to the terrible discovery that his sister was among the 13 people killed.
I believe that things could have been different for my school if kids would have reached out to the two shooters. And if they would have felt accepted, if they would have felt like they belonged, if they would have felt like they had some people that cared about them, I believe that kindness and compassion can be the biggest antidotes to violence.
We hurry back to Edmonton brimming with info we want to share, including the bit about how it's often the higher status kids who bully.
I don't really think anything of it, so I just make fun of her 'cause it's funny, but
I feel so badly about the fact that they do not accept responsibility of making someone else feel worthless.
Like, I think there's a lot worse things that we could be doing to her. Yeah, like just picking fun of her. Like, we could actually be going and like physically hurting her.
I think that absolutely that they've been engaging in behaviors that are not acceptable and that are hurtful to others, and probably indicative of more students who would engage in those behaviors. And because of who they are with adults, it wouldn't be as obvious.
If we do it more, then she'll respond to it more, and then we laugh about it more, and then we just keep doing it.
Now that I've seen this tape, because as you know, I wasn't in that venue, I think absolutely that the students need a lot more intervention in regard to their behaviors.
I can't put it off much longer, much as I'd like to. I've finally got contact info for one of my bullies. Since he's not responding to either voice or email, I have to try his door. I say have to because the only part of me that wants to do this is the part that desperately wants it over.
We're cooking 4 lasagnas. So I want you to turn your ovens on, and then who's in charge of noodle boiling?
This cooking class at Highlands Junior High is made up partly of boys who were relentlessly bullied for months. 2 were driven to thoughts of suicide. The other kids in the class? The boys who did the bullying.
We did what's called a community conference, in which the people who did the harm and the people who were harmed sat down together with their parents and some support from the staff, and they talked about how they can resolve the situation.
It was like emotional because everybody was like sad that all this was happening to everybody, and there was a lot of talking and healing and stuff.
When everyone was like crying because they want to express their feelings, I like felt really bad. Like, why did I do that? And like, why should I do that so people can go and kill themselves?
After a 4-hour conference and a lot of tears, the boys came up with plans to rebuild their relationships, including making lunch for school staff.
I think through the conference, people realize how they harm the other person. They don't often think about what their actions are doing, they just do them. And so when they got to see each other vulnerable, they had that little bit of healing. This process after the fact is about working together as a group. This is an anonymous contract.
In Edmonton, Peace Talks leads the way with a state-of-the-art anti-bullying approach. From the Caring Schools contract everyone signs at the beginning of the year, through to community conferences when bullying does happen. It's based on the core belief that bullying is a relationship problem. Unless there's a real safety issue, you don't expel bullies. You teach bullies and targets different ways of relating.
The staff has seen the kids working together more, and for some of them that maybe weren't friends to begin with, they're just ignoring each other, and they're staying out of each other's way, and they're respecting each other. So it's not forcing them to be friends, but it's forcing respect.
If these 12-year-olds can work it out, what's my deal? Why does walking up to my bully's door make my heart race? It would be funny if it weren't so pathetic.
I could have walked in the door and just barged up to his door and knocked on it, but I chickened out and I went the other way. He buzzed me in without even finding out who I was. And I could have just knocked on the door and it would have been a natural thing to do, but I'm so afraid of what's going to happen and so afraid of f***ing people off that I didn't do it. And I'm so mad at myself for doing that because I think I've blown it. Like, I don't think he's, like, now he's afraid to even answer his buzzer or answer his cell phone and call me back. So I don't know, like, I don't think we're ever going to get to sit down and talk with him, and it's like my fault. I could have walked in.
No getting around it. My softness did make me a target. But if I'd immediately told the bullies to stop, they just might have. Telling the principal didn't help, but today it would, at least in the Edmonton schools where we filmed. The parents of these girls didn't choose to go the community conference route. But after the principal talked to the girls, they say they're leaving their target alone.
We don't really talk to her. Yeah. No.
I haven't talked to her, ever.
Cheyenne says things did improve, although she still struggles to feel at home in her junior high. Colby told school staff, and even if it took a while, it really helped.
I haven't been bullied in a long time. I'm actually pretty happy to go to school on Monday mornings.
Why do you think things have changed?
Because I went to a teacher. People who haven't talked to me before when I was getting bullied lots are talking to me now because I'm getting bullied less. I think that they didn't talk to me before because I don't think they wanted to get bullied too.
When Colby joins a lunchtime football game, the boy who bullied him is already on the field, and there's no friction. They're not friends, but they're okay with each other. Back at my old school, Liz went, without her mom, to talk to the school counselor. Much braver than I was at her age, and it totally worked. That's Liz in the striped armbands, lost in the music. She's really blossomed since she spoke up and was listened to.
I used to be like so insecure and everything. And now like I'm finally realizing that I'm not totally fat and ugly and all that. And yeah, I haven't been like cutting or anything either. 'Cause I don't even write sad poetry or anything anymore. And I've even been trying to listen to more like happy music.
I feel close to her again, and she even said to her doctor today that she feels close to me again. And that's a big deal. I'm very proud of her. Here I go crying again.
I used to like always want to be like popular and everything. And I realized that what's the point?
Time to face my music. After months of failed attempts, I've tracked down my grade 8 bully.
And I really do feel like I want to puke.
He's agreed to meet up at a local bar.
I've built it up in my head, and I keep trying to like do that lame ujjayi breathing we do in yoga to like calm myself down, but it's just like my imagination is totally getting the better of me.
How's it going? Thanks for meeting with me. Yeah, so. To be honest, yeah. Well, it started out like really innocently. Everybody started calling me basketball head, and then things just kind of got worse over the year. You guys wouldn't let me sit down without grabbing my ass. Do you remember that?
I was so very minor in his rowdy, aggressive, popular grade 8 life, and he was so major in mine. Somehow, coming face to face has changed that.
I feel good. I feel good having sat down with him. Like, I felt like the powerful one in the conversation, and I feel like that makes me feel better about myself and makes it feel like they have less of a hold over me.
I haven't loved everything I've learned about myself this year, but I think and hope that all this might be useful to kids like Colby and Liz. And at least finally, it's over. I can leave junior high behind.